We looked up the word in-laws in the dictionary and we were so excited about the definition we found. An in-law is a relative by marriage. Oh dear. It's sad then that in-laws have been so demonized. You know, when you think about the word, what comes to mind? Are they good things? Are they negative things? Because sometimes we forget we're in-laws ourselves.
Exactly.
Okay, so we'll be talking today about dealing with in-laws. Hey, thank you for joining us. I am Chidi Akunna.
And I'm Victor Akunna.
If you're new to our channel, Foundation for Family Affairs, please hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it so you're notified when we drop our content. I would like to say thank you to every returning subscriber for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's talk in-laws then. Before then, I forgot to tell you, at Foundation for Family Affairs, we talk everything romance, intimacy, and family. And yes, we have had this subject come up many times. You know, sometimes people contact us and they say, oh, I hate my in-laws, I don't like this. But we have come to know that there are good in-laws.
Yes.
There are good in-laws. You know, when I asked you to think about the word... Okay, depends on how you look at it.
Cheated,
okay,
yeah.
But when I asked you to think about it, I thought about it myself, and I know I have good in-laws around me. What do you think?
I think you do.
Yes,
and I think I do as well. Yeah.
So let's talk in-laws then. The benefits of are there benefits in having in-laws?
Oh, a number of benefits. Because in-laws are people, they're not spirit beings. So if they are people, they have resources.
Yes.
They have ideas, they have talent. If you're fortunate enough to have in-laws who are in your line of discipline, you guys can exchange ideas. You guys can encourage each other. Right. If you have in-laws who are into business and you are inclined towards business, you can have people who will give you access, you know, open doors for you, or recommend your services, you know, grant you access to their social capital or social network. So there are many privileges.
So they could babysit for you?
They could babysit for you.
Yes.
Okay.
If they live around you, why
they
not?
could babysit for you. You can also be of benefit to them because, of course, I expect you're coming to a relationship or you come into a family without being a liability because, I mean, family is such a close-knit environment that if you're a liability, you'll be found out quickly. So you don't want to be that kind of a liability. Yes. You want to be someone who will also come to the table with something to offer. I like it when parents create a certain kind of relationship with their children while they were much younger. What do I mean by that? Sometimes parents create this subtle competition between siblings that breeds sibling rivalry and takes it to the next level. So if you're coming into a family that has very subtle or pronounced sibling rivalry, you find out that people hoard information. So you see people who are in the same line of discipline, you see them hoarding books, hoarding ideas, because you're just wondering, I mean, you making progress does not stop this other person, but that's not how they see it because that's not how they were raised. And if you are that person that has been raised like that, you can unlearn things, you can unlearn things, you can retrain yourself. And that's some of the things that create this bickering, negative energy. And you see people that are supposed to collaborate on things that will move them forward, but they can't collaborate because they don't just see the benefit of it. Yeah.
Okay, then there's another one you always talk about. It's not an ideal situation, but in extreme cases, it could come in handy. An in-law could be someone, there might be someone in that family who could be a voice of reasoning for your spouse when things get out of hand.
Yes.
Not an ideal situation, but if the circumstances around it warrant it, why not? Yes.
We often say about couples, we say, if you're getting married to somebody, don't get married to a guy or a lady that doesn't have someone that they listen to.
Oh yes.
Why? Because we no matter how high you are, you should have someone that is in a place of authority. That's when the person speaks, you listen. Why? Because you will never know it all.
So someone that can call you to order.
Someone that can call you to order. That's even the more appropriate language to use. So, so in a situation where your spouse is functioning in a certain way, or maybe that's, you know, you should have it. It would be nice to have someone within the in-law relationship. Like you said, it's not an ideal situation. But if no other means is getting, nobody else is getting across to your spouse, this person should be able to speak to your spouse and they will stop in their tracks.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about dealing with in-laws. Then.
Yes.
How do we deal with them? The first point we want to put out there is for you to recognize that your marriage comes first. Your marriage comes first.
Absolutely.
So it is expected that we both put forward a united front whenever we deal with in-laws on any issue.
It's very important when people say your marriage comes first. It doesn't mean that you neglect your in-laws. It means in the order of hierarchy, in the order of priority, your marriage comes first. Because some people find that difficult to. Some people know it mentally, but they find it difficult to really accept it and to work in that reality. So what do I mean? So I'm married now to my wife. I have a covenant with my wife. Everything I own and everything she owns belongs to me. And everything I own belongs to her because we are building a life. Everything we have, we build it together. So now, some people have that. So some men have that challenge because they sit tied to their extended family. Now you're going to be an extended family. That's the order of things, really. And so they want to do something instead of discussing with your spouse first. They're going outside, which is not a bad thing if your spouse has agreed that you're going to go to seek advice. But they still want to, anything that happens to your family, whatever your wife does, you go and complain somewhere else, you're going to end up creating a kind of negative atmosphere for your spouse and negative atmosphere for you because you're going to lack respect within your own family and within external family. They may be like, oh yeah, that lady is not good, this, but after a while, everybody will expect you to pick up your own trouble. People get tired of listening to your issues all the time. They will expect you to be the man and manage your home. Don't come and be bringing, I have my own issues. So you want to be that kind of person who will be able to step up and say, you know what, you have left your family, you're now cleaving to your wife, and you're beginning to build something unique and something new. If they advise you, that's fine. But, your present family is your priority. Priority doesn't mean your only focus, your priority.
I like it when you mentioned leaving and cleaving.
Yes.
You must leave and cleave. You're not throwing away your family. They become extended now, but you're cleaving. And then at the end of the day, you're still forming a union. Okay, so let's talk about the second point. You need to understand and respect the family traditions of your in-laws when in their space. Oh, yes. It may not make sense to you, but maybe in trying to understand it, you may be asking your spouse, well, why do they do this? Just to get some perspective. It still may not make sense to you even when it's been explained to you. But you must respect those traditions when in their space. A typical example may be, they say to you, nobody starts eating when at the table. Nobody starts eating until dad takes the first spoon. It may not make sense to you, but hey, you are in their space. You just respect it. It costs nothing.
Sometimes some people will say that chair, nobody sits on that chair. It's the dad's chair, it's mom's chair. Sometimes some families have a curfew. Once it's 8:30, 9, everybody goes to bed. And so if you are visiting at those hours, you're going to find a situation whereby people will not pay attention. For some families, there are bonding time. There are times where they don't really welcome visitors. So if you don't ask properly and you visit around those times, you think that they are negative people or they are not welcoming. It's not that they are not welcoming, it's just a family tradition that has become a part of them that they are not even aware of. So you have to understand and accept that, this family is not going to be exactly the way I'm coming from. It's like you're leaving your home country, you're going to a new country, and you're expecting them to be exactly the way you're going to. No, it's not going to work like that. So there are things you have to unlearn. There are new, what we call culture shock. Things that are part of their culture that will be different from yours, that will shock you, that will surprise you, that because you've not heard about it or you don't know. So these are the realities on ground.
Indeed, that's true. Okay, so another one would be for you to just love your in-laws and do not hold on to expectations. Love your in-laws. Me loving my in-laws is just simply accepting them. Okay, I accept them for who they are. They don't have to be like me. They don't have to be like where I'm coming from or look like the people where I am coming from, like, you know, from my parents or my siblings. I just love them. Okay, and then do not hold on to expectations. That's me. You know, sometimes when we have all these expectations, it could be very frustrating. Because you're expecting your mother-in-law to be like your mother. So you have those things there. When she's not acting like that, you're like, oh, but my mom would do this. My mom would behave this way. My mom would pray for me. No, you can't be holding on to those expectations. When you don't have those expectations and you choose to love them, you'll be surprised that the value you can get from interacting with them for who they are. Okay, because you're not expecting... You don't have those high standards in place. So you just want to relate with them the way they are. And the good thing is that a lot of beauty comes forth from such relationships. You know, you never know. There's good in everyone. There's good in everybody. There's something good in that mother-in-law you think is so mean. Okay, how about you just drop your expectations and just relate with them the way they are?
Acceptance is very important in any relationship, and if you're going into a relationship with someone and you've not accepted the person, you interact with them but you've not accepted it, they will know. They will know. And actually, yes, because we are spirit beings. People pick signals. You know, people that are just people who can't stand you, they're just tolerating you because maybe you have something that they need. Once you don't have that thing, you guys don't have a relationship. They have a relationship with your resources, not with you. So once people sense that you are in this family but you don't accept them, they will know. And that's not the kind of relationship you want to have. You want to have the kind of relationship where people can interact with you. I mean, it's okay if you guys disagree, but siblings disagree. So you disagree and you move on. So ability to accept people is very, very, very important. Yeah.
That's powerful. You disagree, but you get on. Yeah. Okay, so another point we have for you is do not confront your in-laws. Hey, normal issues. Do not confront. It's a rule of thumb, really, that I when there's an issue, I go back to my family to deal with it. I don't get you into it and then get you stuck there with them, because when they get over things, the issue is resolved. They'll always be thinking, that girl, she's so rude. Why would she even come to me like that? You know, but because you've had to deal with them with that issue, you know, I'll be the good one here.
It's much better like that. It's more cleaner. It's much cleaner and tidier for myself to deal with my family when it comes to an issue that has to concern both of us, and for her to do the same. But there are exceptional cases. There are exceptional cases in the sense that, so if it's a matter of life and death, or it's something that you know that is impacting the well-being of your spouse, but your spouse is not in a place to check it, you have to do something. You have to do something. Otherwise, why are you there to protect your spouse? You know, so there are. My wife is generally a very peace-loving person, and so she would not ruffle anything. But when it comes to a stage where you know that some people are taking the mickey, you can't just keep quiet and say, "Oh, let's just peace." No, you have to check it. That's why you are there to protect, and so it's very important. Bar that kind of beside that kind of situation, the ideal thing is that you deal with your own people, while she deals with her own people. We're all the same people.
All the same people.
But what I mean is, if just for the purpose of explaining what we're trying to do in terms of extended family, it's just much easier that way. Because when the dust settles, they will not remember what your wife said. They will remember what you said. Because in their head, you are their son-in-law, or it's so complicated sometimes.
Just social interaction.
Yes.
Okay, so another point we have for you is you need to avoid divisive topics.
That's so important.
Avoid divisive topics. Why do I have to keep pushing the point when I can see it's rocking the state, the peaceful state in the room? Avoid that. Okay, you know, some people, a typical example would be your in-laws are maybe very strong political family, and then you walk in there, you're thinking, no, I don't agree with you, and you're trying to push your point. Why ruffle the feathers? Like, why ruffle things? Just let things slide. You don't have to push your point that day. Okay, allow things, but as much as possible, avoid divisive topics.
You know, some people will say to us that, well, that's not being authentic. You're not being who you are. being authentic is relative.
Yeah.
One, being authentic, you can be authentic on any other subjects. You look for another subject that's unified. You look for unifying points, particularly if you are dealing with your in-laws. Look for areas of connection. Look for areas of similarities. You know, and so find somewhere where you both agree and be authentic there. You know, don't do things like she mentioned earlier, or don't do things that are divisive, because at the end of the day, people remember you for that, and you don't want to be known in your family as a divisive person, unless it's a matter of principle. If it's a matter of principle, then it doesn't. For me, I think it should stand on what is right. So, for example, it's a matter of so it has something to do with your personal integrity or following through on your promise. That's good. But if it's a matter of preference, whether I support this group, you support that group, I support this team, you support that football club, I support this candidate, you support that candidate, those are matter of preference. There shouldn't be something that you should push, you know, because I mean, I can't remember who said this now. When it comes to the issue of principles, stand like a rock. When it comes to issues of preference, flow like the current. In other words, that's fine. They just go. It doesn't matter really, whether it's white or black. It doesn't matter. But that everybody will have equal share, that everybody's voice will be heard. Those are matters of principle. That's when you stand with it. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so the next point we have for you is you need to overlook little things. Okay, and when we say this, that's you know, measuring the situation. Is it a small thing? I let it slide. Okay, of course, for major things, you may want to, you know, look into that, have those things addressed. Okay, but I like to say, don't sweat the small stuff. If it's a small thing, I don't like the way she looked at me or she rolled her eyes when I was speaking. You let those things slide. Yeah.
I think the key, another way to say this is pick your battles.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Focus on winning the war, not every battle. By winning the war, in other words, look at the big picture. All right, because if you are going to be interacting with people on a regular basis, you guys will have point of disagreements. It's just natural. It's just normal. You know, doing it an in-law does not make it one big thing. It happens with your siblings as well.
Yes.
So pick your battles. No, don't sweat the small stuff, and focus on the bigger picture. The other point I wanted to add is, you know, sometimes because when you're coming into a family, you want to put your best foot forward. All right, but don't, in a bid to put your best foot forward, you act in a way that is inauthentic to you. You act in a way that does not speak of that does not align with your core values. What do I mean by that? So someone is doing something that obviously you don't like, but because you want peace to reign, you just keep it quiet. The person might not know that you don't like this, and they become used to doing that stuff. And so much later, when you want to complain, it looks like, why are you complaining? And they get offended that you are offended and in what they are doing, because in their head, why are you changing? So whatever you will not accept from the beginning, it's better to talk about it. It doesn't matter, you know, better to talk about it. How you talk about it is important.
Yes.
Yeah. So talking about it does not mean you be rude or be saucy or be or be inconsiderate in your approach. But if you don't like, if people are encroaching into your space, you are that kind of person that like to be organized, just say it. And don't be dying in silence, and you know everybody is wondering why you are just carrying, why you are frowning. No, say it, that you don't appreciate this. So people know you like that, and though they know how to work around it. It's much better than to try to play this good person that you cannot sustain. I mean, if these people are your in-laws, you be together the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. How long are you going to be acting that way? No. That's another key thing I thought.
That's a good point. You know, stay authentic.
So yeah.
Okay, so the last point we have for you is be kind and respectful at all times. Don't forget your children are watching. Okay, the way you relate with them decides how they pick a lot through these social observations. How you relate with grandma, how you relate with auntie, how you relate with uncle. And of course, you want. I believe you're wanting to raise fine gentlemen, beautiful, lovely, polite ladies. Okay, that's what you want to see in the future. So if I'm not setting the example? Why am I expecting that of my children?
That's powerful.
You know, so we need to get that in.
Yeah, that's so powerful. That's so powerful because sometimes parents don't think about it like that. You know, they think, oh, you know what, I can do whatever I like to do. Well, my child will not copy. No, they copy. Another thing is the conversations you have about your in-laws behind their back.
Yeah.
You know, you have some kind of conversation. Oh, this person is like this. Oh, that person is not good. Oh, this person is not good. Oh, these people are not good. Oh, my daughter is like this. And you do that all around. And your little child is picking up, is learning. And then you're wondering why they are not cozying up to your parents or their uncles or their aunties. You know, it's because of what they've heard. Because they are not in that space yet where they can process to know that, you know, this is not all there is to this uncle or to this auntie. This is just a part of their bad character. You know, it's not all there is. You know, like what Chimamanda would call the danger of a single story. So the only story they know about that uncle is that thing that you keep talking about. So after a while, they come to brand that uncle in their mind and this. And so if they don't interact with that uncle, you're wondering, oh no, say hi to uncle. You're just looking at the uncle like this. Is it you, this uncle that is like this? That's what they are thinking.
Yeah, or this uncle that said this to my mom.
Yeah, that's what they are thinking, you know. So don't damage relationships before they start.
Awesome. Okay, we'll leave it here. Let us know your thoughts. Share your thoughts in the comment section if you care. At that point you think you would want us to also take into consideration, and for the benefit of others, please put them in the comment section. Let's hear from you. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please hit the subscribe button and the bell next to it so you're notified when we drop our content. And
share this link. Share this link through your WhatsApp. Share this link to your Facebook. You know, let people know about it and let's spread the good news.
In-laws are wonderful people. Hey, let's share the message. You know, and then I saw this thing on Twitter the other day, and someone put up something. I was talking about how nice her mother-in-law has been. Each time, I think from time to time, she sends her bowls of soup and different sauces. You know, and as I was going through the comments, I saw some very ludicrous comments. Like I was like, why? Who's done this to us? So people were saying, oh, why are you pretending? Why do you all? Because some people came on and put up good comments about their in-laws, and then some people were like, oh, so suddenly every in-law is now good. You know, hey, come on, you're an in-law as well. Are you bad? You know, let's expect the best from relationships. Even if your in-laws are not doing well yet, okay, they might be on their own journey. Okay, so just keep expecting the best. You stay good, relate with them positively, you know, as you would, and shine the lights. That's what's more important. You know, I don't hold on to grudge, you know, hold on to offenses when they hurt you. You learn to let go and, you know, carry on with the relationship. Let's stop sabotaging ourselves and wonderful relationships we could have explored. Okay.
To just add to that is, let's work together to change the narrative. Like you said, we are also in-laws. Let me start by being good in-laws to when my child is going to get married. Let me start by modeling the kind of in-laws I want him to have. You know, let's start being that kind of good in-law, and let's change the narrative. Some people started this narrative. Let's also start a new narrative and change that.
Okay, we'll see you on the next one. Until then, it's goodbye from us.
Bye.